There is a conversation every parent of a teenager eventually has to have, and most of us have it badly. It usually starts when your teenager begins demanding the things that come with being grown. The later nights. The freedom from your rules. The right to make their own choices. The "you can't tell me what to do anymore." And in that moment, most parents do one of two things. We either fight them, shut it all down, assert our authority, and push the whole conversation underground where we can no longer guide it. Or we give in, hand over the freedoms to avoid the conflict, and quietly teach our child that adulthood is just childhood with a later bedtime. There is a third option, a better one, and it comes down to teaching your teenager 5 specific truths about what adulthood actually is, before the world teaches them the hard way. Because here is the thing your teenager does not yet understand. They think becoming an adult means getting more freedom. It does not. It means accepting more responsibility, and the freedom is simply what comes attached. Get that order right, and you raise a young person who is genuinely ready to leave home. Get it wrong, and you raise one who wants every privilege of adulthood and none of its weight. Let me walk you through the 5 lessons, and exactly how to teach each one. Lesson 1. Adulthood is a package. You take all of it, or none of it. The first and most important thing to teach your teenager is that adulthood does not come in pieces you get to pick from. Teenagers, almost universally, want to select only the appealing parts. They want the late curfew without the responsibility of getting themselves home. They want freedom from your rules without freedom from your support. They want to be treated as a grown-up in every way that benefits them, and as a child in every way that protects them. And our job is to gently, lovingly show them that the world does not work that way. The late nights come attached to making your own way home. The freedom from being told what to do comes attached to providing for yourself. You cannot keep the comforts of childhood while claiming the freedoms of adulthood, because in the real world, those things were never separate. How to teach it. When your teenager asks for a specific freedom, do not say no. Say yes, and then calmly walk them through everything that genuinely comes attached to it in the adult world. You want to set your own schedule? Wonderful. Here is what setting your own schedule looks like when you're also responsible for getting yourself everywhere. You're not denying them. You're showing them the full picture of the thing they're asking for. Most of the time, seeing the whole package is the entire lesson. Lesson 2. Every freedom has a matching responsibility. This is the principle underneath the first lesson, and it deserves to be named directly, because it is the single most useful idea you can hand a teenager. Every freedom has a matching responsibility. They are not two separate things. They are the same thing, seen from two sides. The freedom to come and go as you please is the same coin as the responsibility to get yourself where you're going. The freedom to make your own choices is the same coin as the responsibility to live with the consequences of those choices. The freedom to be treated as an equal in a household is the same coin as the responsibility to contribute to that household. You genuinely cannot hold one side of the coin without the other, not as an actual adult. Teenagers do not know this yet. They experience freedom and responsibility as opposites. Freedom is the fun part. Responsibility is the part parents nag about. The most valuable reframe you can give them is this. These are not enemies. They are partners. Every single freedom they will ever earn in life will arrive holding hands with a responsibility. And the sooner they make peace with that, the smoother their entire adult life will be. How to teach it. Make the pairing explicit. Every time. Whenever you grant a new freedom, name the responsibility that comes with it in the same breath. Not as a punishment, as a fact. Yes, you can have this, and here's what comes with it. Over time, your teenager stops being surprised that responsibility is attached and starts expecting it. That expectation is one of the most important things an adult can carry. Lesson 3. Independence means self-sufficiency, not just permission. Here is a distinction most teenagers completely miss, and honestly, many adults never fully grasp it either. Your teenager thinks independence means being allowed to do what they want. Permission. The removal of restrictions. But that is not what independence actually is. Real independence means no longer depending on others. It means getting your own food, your own transportation, your own money, your own way in the world. Permission without self-sufficiency is not independence at all. It is just childhood with fewer rules. A young person who has the freedom to do anything, but still relies on someone else for everything, has not become independent. They have simply become a child with a longer leash. This is the lesson that lands hardest, because it reframes the entire thing your teenager is reaching for. They think they're asking for freedom. What they actually need to be building towards is self-reliance. And self-reliance is not granted by a parent. It is developed, gradually, through being given real responsibilities and being allowed to carry them. How to teach it. Hand over genuine self-sufficiency in age-appropriate steps, well before they leave home. Let them manage their own money and feel what running out actually means. Let them handle their own transportation, their own schedule, their own commitments. Researchers who study adolescence recommend deliberately giving teenagers independence in areas where they can experience real consequences of their choices. Starting while the stakes are still low and the cost of learning is small. Every responsibility you hand them now is a rehearsal for the day they carry all of them at once. Lesson 4. Respect and accountability run in both directions. Teenagers are very good at demanding to be treated like adults in the ways that benefit them. They want adult respect, adult freedom, adult autonomy. What they often miss is that adult treatment runs in both directions. To be treated as an adult is not only to receive the dignity of adulthood. It is to be held to the standards of adulthood. It means owning your behavior. It means being accountable for your choices and your conduct. It means you no longer get the protections that childhood offered, because you have asked to step out of that category entirely. You cannot demand the dignity of an adult while keeping the safety net of a child. And a teenager who learns this early, who understands that being taken seriously as an adult means being held responsible like one, is far better. Prepared for the real world. How to teach it. When you grant adult respect, attach adult accountability in the same motion. Treat your teenager's word as something they are now responsible for keeping. Treat their commitments as real obligations, not optional intentions. When they fall short, don't rescue them the way you would a small child. Let them experience being accountable, because that accountability is exactly what adulthood will require of them, constantly. You are not being harsh. You are taking them as seriously as they ask to be taken. Lesson 5. Come with contribution. The final lesson is the one that ties all the others together, and it may be the most important for the kind of adult your child becomes. Adults do not simply live in a household and consume from it. They contribute to it. A child receives. That is appropriate. Children are meant to be provided for. But part of growing up is the shift from only receiving to also giving. The shift from being someone the household carries to being someone who helps carry the household. The right to be there as an equal member comes with the duty to help sustain what you're a member of. This is true of a family, and it is true of every community your child will ever belong to. A workplace, a friendship, a marriage, a society. The people who thrive are the ones who understand that membership comes with contribution. The people who struggle are the ones who believe they are entitled to receive, without ever being expected to give. How to teach it. Build real contribution into your teenager's life now. Not token chores, but genuine responsibilities that the household actually depends on. Let them feel what it is to be needed, to be a person whose contribution matters, not just a person who is provided for. That experience does something profound for a young person's sense of self. It tells them they are capable, that they have something to offer, that they are not a guest in their own life, but a participant in it. The principle underneath all 5, if you strip these 5 lessons down to a single sentence, here is what your teenager most needs to understand about becoming an adult. Freedom is not the absence of responsibility. It is the acceptance of it. A child is someone whose responsibilities are carried by other people. An adult is someone who carries their own, which means growing up is not about gaining permission. It is about taking ownership. The teenager who understands this, who stops seeing adulthood as an escape from responsibility and starts seeing it as the acceptance of responsibility, has learned the single most important thing about what it means to grow up. And the beautiful part is this. When you teach it this way, you are not crushing your teenager's reach for independence. You are honoring it. You are taking their desire to grow up seriously enough to tell them what growing up actually requires. That is not the opposite of supporting their independence. It is the truest form of it. The years between 13 and 18 are short. Researchers point out that parents have only about 5 years to hand over full autonomy to a child. 5 years to take someone who depends on you for everything and prepare them to depend on themselves. That is not a lot of time, and you do not get it back. So when your teenager comes to you reaching for the freedoms of adulthood, and they will, do not treat it as a battle to win or a fire to put out. Treat it as the opening you have been waiting for. The chance to teach them, while they are still safely under your roof, that freedom and responsibility are the same coin. That independence means carrying your own weight. That respect runs both ways. That rights come with contribution. And that growing up is not about getting more, it is about owning more. Teach them that, with patience and with warmth, and you will not just be raising a teenager. You will be launching an adult. If this gave you a clearer way to think about the conversation ahead, share it with a parent who is raising a teenager right now. Leave a comment telling me which of these 5 lessons you think matters most. Until next time, take their reach for independence seriously and teach them what it actually costs. Because that is how you raise someone ready to carry it.